When Benoît first arrived in London, everything moved fast. The buses, the wind, even the English. It felt like the city was in a hurry, and he was the only one still learning how to keep up. Back in Congo, he had been respected, known. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was the young man who helped dig the first borehole in his village, the one who fixed old machines with scrap metal, the founder of a small foundation that built real things with local tools. People called him Monsieur Benoît. But here he was just another student, a student with an accent. One afternoon during break, Benoît sat on a bench near campus eating a sandwich. It was cold, dry, and tasteless. He missed the warm rice and beans from home. Two students nearby chatted about something funny, something he didn't understand. He decided to say hello. "Hello, may I join you?" he asked. They looked at him and smiled. "Sure, mate. Where are you from?" "Congo," he said. "I design boreholes for water in the village." One of the students raised an eyebrow. What? Boreholes?" "No," Benoît laughed nervously. "Borehole, for water. You dig in ground." "Oh, gotcha, like a well." He nodded. But inside he felt small. Why was it so hard to explain? The next day, during a class on sustainable engineering, the professor made an announcement. "Next week, we begin our case study presentations. We want stories that show real innovation. I'd like to begin with Benoît." Benoît looked up, surprised. "Me?" "Yes," the professor smiled. "Your village project, designing with no imported materials, that's the kind of thinking we need." Everyone turned to look at him. He gave a shy nod, but inside his heart dropped. "They want me to speak English in front of all these people?" That evening, he tried practicing with some classmates. He explained, "We used no electric pump, just local, how you say, tube with force." "Sorry, say that again?" one student asked. "Yes, force down with pressure." Another tilted her head. "Do you mean gravity-fed?" He paused. "Maybe. It'd work without motor." They nodded politely, but the moment was gone. In his room that night, he stood in front of the mirror with a notebook. "Reinforcement," he said. Then again, "Reinforcement. Technical. Innovation." He sighed. Back in Congo, he spoke fast and proud, French, Lingala, even a little Swahili. But English? English made him feel like a boy again. He approached the professor the next day. "Sir, about the presentment." The professor smiled gently. "You mean your presentation?" "Yes, sorry, that I'm not very fast with English." "You don't have to be fast. You just have to be real," the professor said. "They'll listen." He watched old student presentations online. Everyone sounded smooth, confident. Their words flowed like music. He paused the videos, rewound repeated words. He wrote out his ideas in French, then tried translating. "Nous avons construit avec respect." "We built with respect." It didn't sound the same. Still, he practiced, again and again, until the words felt less like strangers. Call from home. Later that night, he video-called Nadege. "They asked me to speak, Bebe," he said in French, "but I don't sound like them." She looked at him with warm eyes. "Mon fils, speak like you. Even broken words carry truth." New day in class. The classroom was buzzing with students practicing. Benoît stood up in a small group to try his part. "My name is Benoît. I am from Congo. We build boreholes with no import, only village parts." A girl raised her hand. Sorry, say that again. You mean local materials? Yes, that. Someone whispered behind him. He couldn't hear, but he felt it. He sat down, his palms sweaty. What if I mess up tomorrow? He stood in front of the class. The screen behind him showed a photo of his village. Red earth, children holding buckets, an old pump made from scrap parts. He looked around, then took a deep breath. Good morning, I am Benoît. I come from Congo. In my village, we don't have machines. We have people. We have hands. We dig, we learn, and we build. He paused. The class was quiet. He continued. We had no imported materials, only metal from old cars, cement, and hope. Still quiet. This is not only engineering, it is survival, it is respect, and it is love. He looked down at his paper, then back up. Sometimes I find English hard, but my work speaks many languages. I hope you hear it. He stepped back. The presentation was over. Benoît stepped away from the front of the room, heart pounding. His hands were cold. He had done everything, practiced, memorized, even whispered a prayer that morning. He sat down, waiting. Silence. A few students clapped, slow, polite. One girl leaned to her friend and whispered something. They both giggled. Someone muttered under their breath, "What was that even about?" Benoît looked down at his shoes. The professor gave a short thank you, then moved to the next presentation. After class, in the hallway, Benoît walked quietly, his bag over one shoulder. He passed a group of students near the vending machine. Did you understand anything he said? One boy laughed. It was like Google Translate in real life, another added. They burst out laughing. Benoît didn't stop. He didn't even turn. But the words hit hard. He had faced hard roads before, broken engines, long nights, hunger. But this was loneliness. Back in his room, he sat on the edge of his bed, opened his notebook. The words he had written were clear. We build with dignity. We dig with hope. We fix with hands, not machines. Why didn't they hear that, he wondered. Was it my words, my voice, my accent? He closed the book, swallowed the pain. But that night he didn't cry. Instead, he searched online. The next morning, he walked into a small room on the second floor of the student center. A paper on the door read, Free English support for international students, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Inside, a kind woman welcomed him. Hi, I'm Liz. You're here for English practice? He nodded. My name is Benoît, he said slowly. I want to speak better. You came to the right place, she smiled. A new routine begins for Benoît. Every Tuesday and Thursday after class, while others went for drinks or parties, Benoît sat in that small room with a whiteboard and flashcards. He practiced how to say words. Pressure valve. Water table. Structural support. He repeated phrases until they rolled off his tongue. This device reduces friction. We applied local materials based on available resources. Some nights he recorded himself and listened over and over. He still sounded like Benoît, but clearer, stronger, more understood. Back in his main engineering class, things didn't change overnight. Some students still ignored him. Some still made jokes. But when the professor asked a technical question, Benoît raised his hand. Yes, Benoît? He stood calm. If you adjust the flow rate, it helps. The pressures stay balanced. A few students looked surprised. One even nodded. And slowly, things began to shift. One student approached him after class. Hey man, what you said about water systems, I want to learn more. Can you show me your model? Benoît smiled. Yes, I can. Let's meet tomorrow. Though he still made mistakes. He still had an accent. He still sometimes had to ask, can you repeat, please? But now he didn't feel ashamed. He felt brave and continued his English studying sessions until he gets where he wants to be.